There are 16 important things you need to know before your cruise so you don't make a big mistake, because every single sailing, thousands of passengers board their ship excited for the vacation of a lifetime, only to discover they've accidentally sabotaged their own trip. Some overpay by hundreds of dollars without realizing it. Others end up stuck with terrible cabins, sold-out activities, or surprise fees that weren't in the brochure. And in the worst cases, people miss the ship entirely, or get left behind in a foreign port watching it sail away without them. Cruising in 2026 is not the same as it used to be. New rules, higher prices, limited capacity at popular destinations, and stricter boarding requirements mean the margin for error is smaller than ever. The good news? Every one of these disasters is completely avoidable if you know about them in advance. So before you pack your bags, here are 16 cruise mistakes that can quietly ruin your entire vacation. Starting with one almost everyone makes, and ending with the mistake that has stranded passengers in countries they never planned to stay in. Number 16. Overpaying for Wi-Fi you barely use. Cruise ship internet has become shockingly expensive, in some cases more than $50 per day, and many passengers automatically buy the top package thinking they'll need it. But once they're on board, they realize they're mostly just checking messages, posting a few photos, or scrolling for a few minutes at night. Suddenly, that must-have purchase turns into one of the most expensive mistakes of the trip. What cruise lines don't always make obvious is that there are usually multiple tiers. Some plans only cover messaging apps, others block video streaming, and many ships now offer cheaper packages once you're on board. There are also plenty of ports where you can connect to fast, free Wi-Fi in cafes, terminals, or even right on the pier, something many experienced cruisers rely on, instead of paying ship prices. Another surprise in 2026 is that internet speeds still aren't guaranteed, even with newer satellite systems. During peak hours, especially on sea days, connections can slow to a crawl because thousands of people are trying to use it at once. So you may end up paying premium prices for something that barely works when you want it most. Unless you genuinely need to work remotely or stay constantly connected, buying the most expensive package ahead of time is often unnecessary. For many travelers, waiting until you're on board to see what you actually need can save a surprising amount of money. Money that could be spent on excursions, specialty dining, or experiences you'll actually remember. Number 15. Not checking your onboard account daily. From the moment you step on board, almost everything you do gets charged to your cabin account. Drinks, specialty dining, Wi-Fi, excursions, shops, even room service on some ships. It's incredibly convenient, but also very easy for mistakes to slip through unnoticed. Duplicate charges, wrong drink prices, excursions billed to the wrong cabin, or items you never ordered do happen. Most of the time it's an honest mistake, but if you don't spot it early, fixing it becomes much harder. Waiting until the final morning of the cruise is one of the worst times to deal with it, because guest services lines can stretch for hours as hundreds of passengers discover surprises on their bill. By checking your account daily on the ship's app or your cabin TV, you can catch issues while staff still have time to investigate and correct them. It also prevents that awful end-of-cruise shock when you see a total that's much higher than expected. A quick daily check takes less than a minute, but skipping it can turn your relaxing vacation finale into a stressful scramble, right when you should be enjoying your last day at sea. Before we keep going, if you haven't already, please click like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And let me know in the comments what your next cruise is. I'd love to know where everyone is sailing next. Let's get back into it. Number 14. Ignoring drink package math. Drink packages sound like an easy decision. Pay one price up front and enjoy unlimited drinks all cruise long. But in 2026, the math has quietly changed. Prices have risen, some cruise lines have reduced daily limits, and many packages now exclude higher-end cocktails, specialty coffees, bottled water, or premium brands, unless you upgrade again. A lot of passengers buy the package thinking they'll easily get their money's worth, only to discover they would need to drink far more than they actually want to every single day. Port days especially can throw off the calculation, because you're off the ship for hours and not using the package at all, yet you're still paying for it. Another surprise is that most cruise lines require every adult in the same cabin to purchase the package if one person does. So even if only one person drinks heavily, both passengers may end up paying hundreds of dollars for something only one of them uses. For some travelers, the package is fantastic value. But for many others, especially moderate drinkers, it becomes one of the biggest unnecessary expenses of the trip. Doing a quick estimate of what you realistically drink, not what you think you might drink on vacation, can prevent a very expensive mistake. Number 13. Missing out on bundled packages that could save you hundreds. Many cruise lines now offer all-inclusive style bundles that combine things like drinks, Wi-Fi, gratuities, specialty dining, and onboard credit into one price. Programs such as Princess Plus, Holland America's Have It All, or Norwegian's Free at Sea can dramatically reduce what you pay overall, but only if you understand them before you book. A lot of passengers either ignore these offers or assume they're not worth it, then end up paying for everything separately at full onboard prices. By the time they realize the bundle would have been cheaper, it's too late to add it, or the cost has gone up significantly. What makes this especially tricky is that these packages aren't one size fits all. For some travelers, they're incredible value, while for others, they include things you won't use. The mistake isn't saying yes or no. It's not doing the comparison at all. Taking a few minutes to price out what you would normally buy can mean the difference between a reasonably priced cruise and one filled with surprise charges. Many experienced cruisers say this is one of the easiest ways to avoid death by 1,000 extra fees once you're on board. Number 12. Booking during peak kids seasons without realizing it. Not all cruises have the same atmosphere, and the time of year you sail can completely transform the experience. School holidays, summer breaks, and major public holidays can turn even normally calm ships into extremely busy, noisy, high-energy environments, filled with families and large groups. Many travelers accidentally booked these dates because prices looked good or availability was limited, only to discover long lines, crowded pools, packed buffets, and difficulty finding quiet spaces anywhere on board. Even entertainment venues, elevators, and shore excursions can feel overwhelmed during peak family sailing. This doesn't mean family cruises are bad. They can be fantastic if that's what you want. But for couples, honeymooners, or anyone hoping for a peaceful escape, it can feel like booking the wrong vacation entirely. Checking school holiday calendars for major countries, especially the US, UK, and Australia, can give you a much better idea of what the ship's atmosphere will actually be like, because the difference between a relaxed sailing and a chaotic one often comes down to timing alone. Number 11. Choosing the wrong cruise line for your travel style. Not all cruise lines offer the same experience, and picking the wrong one can make an entire trip feel disappointing, even if the ship itself is beautiful. Some lines are known for non-stop parties and high-energy nightlife, while others focus on relaxation, fine dining, enrichment activities, or a quieter atmosphere. Many first-time cruisers assume a cruise is a cruise, then find themselves on a ship that doesn't match what they were hoping for. Someone expecting a peaceful getaway might end up on a loud, party-focused sailing, while someone looking for excitement could feel bored on a more traditional, slower-paced cruise. Even things like announcements, music volume, dress codes, onboard activities, and the average passenger age can vary dramatically between cruise lines. The difference can feel like night and day. A few minutes of research into the personality of a cruise line, not just the ship or itinerary, can prevent that sinking feeling of realizing you booked the wrong kind of vacation for you. Number 10. Overlooking cabin location. Your cabin might look perfect on the booking page, but where it sits on the ship can make a huge difference to your comfort. Cabins near elevators can mean constant hallway noise at all hours. Rooms directly under nightclubs, pool decks, or theaters can come with thumping bass, chairs scraping, and early morning setup sounds long before you plan to wake up. Location also affects motion. Cabins at the very front or back of the ship tend to feel movement more strongly, especially in rough seas, while midship and lower decks are usually more stable. For passengers prone to seasickness, this can be the difference between a pleasant cruise and feeling unwell for days. There are also hidden nuisances many people don't think about. Crew service doors nearby, smoking areas on adjacent decks, or long walks to key venues that get tiring fast. On a large ship, a poorly placed cabin can add up to miles of extra walking over the course of a week. The mistake isn't choosing a cheaper room. It's choosing one without checking what's above, below, and around it. A little research on deck plans can turn a just okay cabin into a quiet, comfortable retreat instead of a source of constant frustration. Number 9. Paying for extras you could get cheaper or even free on board. Many cruisers feel pressured to pre-purchase everything before they sail. Wi-Fi packages, spa passes, specialty dining, drink upgrades, even shore excursions. And while some pre-booking can save money, not everything is cheaper in advance. Cruise lines frequently run embarkation day specials, mid-cruise discounts, and limited-time offers once you're on board. Spa tours often include free thermal suite passes. Specialty restaurants sometimes offer discounted first-night pricing. Wi-Fi packages may drop in price after the first day, but if you already locked everything in weeks before departure, you won't benefit from those deals. Another common mistake is assuming excursions through the cruise line are always the only safe option. In many ports, reputable local operators offer the exact same tours at lower prices, sometimes with smaller groups and more personalized service. The key isn't avoiding pre-booking entirely. It's knowing which items truly sell out and which ones often get discounted later. Otherwise, you may end up paying premium prices for experiences that could have cost significantly less. Number 8. ignoring new port taxes, fees, and passenger caps. Cruising to some of the world's most popular destinations now comes with new costs that many passengers don't see until after they've booked. Countries including Greece, Norway, Iceland, Hawaii, and parts of France have introduced or expanded visitor taxes, environmental fees, or daily passenger limits to control over-tourism. These charges are often added automatically to your fare or appear as updated port fees closer to sailing, which can increase the final price of your trip without much warning. In some cases, ships are also required to limit the number of passengers allowed ashore at one time, meaning not everyone gets to explore the destination when they want. Another consequence is itinerary changes. If a port reaches its daily capacity or local regulations shift, cruise lines may substitute a different destination, shorten the visit, or cancel the stop entirely. That dream port you booked the cruise for might suddenly become just a sea day. This doesn't mean these cruises aren't worth taking. Many are incredible. But understanding that popular destinations now come with extra costs and restrictions helps avoid surprise expenses and disappointment later on. Number 7. Not booking shows, dining, and activities early. On many modern ships, the most popular experiences don't stay available for long. Broadway-style shows, specialty restaurants, small group activities, and even some free attractions can fill up within hours of boarding, sometimes even before the cruise begins through the cruise line's app. Passengers who assume they can figure it out later often discover the best time slots are gone, leaving only very late dinners, inconvenient showtimes, or nothing available at all. This is especially common on sea days when demand is highest and everyone is looking for something to do at the same time. Some cruise lines now require reservations for entertainment that used to be walk-in, and capacity limits mean standby isn't always an option. Families traveling together can find it even harder to get seats or tables at the same time once things start filling up. A quick planning session before sailing, or logging into the ship's app immediately after boarding, can secure the experiences you were most excited about. Otherwise, you may spend the cruise watching everyone else enjoy the shows you wanted to see while you're left searching for alternatives. Number 6. Packing banned or restricted items without realizing it. Cruise ship rules change constantly, and many items that seem perfectly normal at home can be confiscated at the port. Power strips with surge protection, drones, candles, certain appliances, extension cords, and even some types of medical or electronic devices can be prohibited depending on the cruise line. What surprises many passengers is that these items aren't just taken temporarily. In some cases, they're held until the end of the cruise, and in others, they may be disposed of entirely. That expensive gadget you packed to make life easier could disappear before you even step on board. Policies also vary between cruise lines, so something allowed on one ship may be banned on another. Travelers who rely on old packing lists or advice from previous cruises often get caught out by updated rules. Checking the official prohibited items list for your specific cruise line shortly before departure takes only a few minutes, but it can prevent delays at security, confiscated belongings, and a frustrating start to what should be a relaxing vacation. Number 5. Skipping travel insurance when it matters most. Cruises involve multiple moving parts: flights, ports, foreign countries, medical care at sea, and when something goes wrong, the cost can escalate incredibly fast. Medical treatment on board can run into thousands of dollars. Emergency evacuations by helicopter can exceed tens of thousands, and missed departures or trip cancellations can wipe out the entire cost of your vacation. Many travelers skip insurance because they assume nothing will happen, or they believe their regular health insurance or credit card coverage will protect them. But those policies often don't apply outside your home country or on a ship in international waters. Insurance isn't just about medical emergencies. It can also cover trip interruptions, lost luggage, flight delays, and situations where you can't sail due to illness or unexpected events. Without it, you may be paying out of pocket for problems completely beyond your control. It's one of those purchases that feels unnecessary, right up until the moment you desperately need it. And by then, of course, it's too late to add. Number 4. Booking flights on embarkation day. It might seem convenient: fly in, go straight to the port, step onto the ship, but this is one of the riskiest travel decisions you can make. Flight delays, cancellations, weather disruptions, mechanical issues, air traffic congestion, or lost luggage can derail even the most carefully planned itinerary. Cruise ships operate on strict schedules and cannot wait for late passengers, even if the delay isn't your fault. If your flight arrives late and boarding closes, the ship will depart without you, and catching up at the next port can be extremely complicated and expensive, especially in a foreign country. Air travel disruptions have increased in recent years, making same-day arrivals far less reliable than they once were. A single missed connection can turn your dream vacation into a stressful scramble to salvage what you can. Flying in at least one day before your cruise dramatically reduces this risk and gives you a buffer if something goes wrong, because once that ship leaves the dock, it doesn't turn around. Number 3, not arriving in the port city at least one day early. Even if your flights go smoothly, arriving on the same day your cruise departs leaves almost no room for anything to go wrong. Traffic jams, airport delays, long security lines, baggage issues, or unexpected transportation problems can all eat into your timeline faster than you think. International sailings are especially risky. One delayed flight, missed connection, or customs holdup can mean you arrive after boarding has closed. And unlike a hotel, a cruise ship won't hold your reservation if you're late. Arriving the day before gives you a safety buffer and a chance to start your vacation calmly, instead of rushing from airport to port in a panic. It also protects you from airline chaos, which has become increasingly unpredictable in recent years. Many experienced cruisers consider this non-negotiable, especially for long-haul travel, because the cost of one hotel night is tiny compared to the cost, financial and emotional, of missing the ship entirely. Number 2, not completing check-in requirements before you arrive. Cruise lines now require far more pre-boarding steps than they used to, and skipping them can cause serious delays or even prevent you from sailing. Online check-in, uploading documents, selecting arrival times, adding payment details, and verifying travel information are often mandatory before you ever reach the terminal. Passengers who show up unprepared may be pulled aside to complete paperwork while everyone else boards, and in some cases, boarding can close before they finish. Missing or incorrect documents, such as passports, visas, or required authorizations, can result in outright denial of boarding, no matter how far you traveled to get there. Arrival time windows are also strictly enforced on many cruises to control crowding at the port. Turning up too early or too late can mean waiting outside for hours or risking missing your assigned boarding slot. Doing everything in advance not only speeds up embarkation, it removes one of the biggest sources of day one stress, because the cruise can't begin until you're actually on board, and getting there is no longer as simple as just showing up with a suitcase. Number 1, assuming the ship will wait for you. This is the mistake that can turn a dream vacation into a nightmare in minutes. Cruise ships run on extremely strict schedules, and once the final boarding time passes, they are required to depart, whether you're on board or not. Passengers are left behind every single year. Some miss embarkation due to travel delays, but many are stranded during port stops after losing track of time, getting stuck in traffic, or booking independent tours that return late. Watching your ship sail away while you're still on the dock is more common than most people realize. If you're late at a port, you're responsible for catching up to the ship at the next destination, often in another country, sometimes requiring last-minute flights, hotels, visas, and thousands of dollars in unexpected costs. Your belongings, passport copies, and medications may still be on board, adding even more stress to an already chaotic situation. The all-aboard time is not a suggestion. It's a hard deadline. Ships operate within port schedules, pilot bookings, and international regulations that don't allow flexibility for individual passengers. Keeping track of ship time, allowing extra buffer when exploring independently, and returning early rather than at the last minute can prevent one of the worst cruise disasters imaginable. Because once those gangways come up, the ship isn't coming back for you.